Welcome back.
It's his freaking countdowns. You need to hear him.
Never. I will never release those episodes. One of these days, you're gonna secretly be recording me while I'm doing the countdowns.
Oh yeah.
And that will happen.
Oh yeah.
But we are back in our regular setup as usual.
Yeah.
And we're going back to a classic. Can I say classic? Because we haven't really done that many different videos.
Yes and no. There will be more variety with the videos.
It's late.
It got away from us.
It's late.
It's been a heck of a week.
I got off of work a while ago.
Yeah, from where he's got a second job now. He works on days he was usually off. So we're trying to
adjust,
figure out a schedule. Which reminds me, you gotta look at your schedule for this week.
I already did.
Do you work Saturday?
No.
Okay.
So I'm good.
Neither one of us do.
Mike,
yeah,
my boss. I shouldn't say Mike.
Well, it's
Whatever.
It's fine.
So, what are we doing today?
We are going to be talking about movies from our childhood.
Yes. Movies from our childhood / movie upbringings. Like, kind of like the same thing where it's like...
Yeah.
The movies that influenced us when we were younger that kind of like project us to like our personality now.
This is grape juice, by the way. It looks like white wine or... We're not Mark and Ethan.
No. Thank goodness.
It's you and Sam.
Maybe.
I mean, you're not going to do that challenge specifically, but still.
I'm kidding. Also, I forgot to look at the camera.
Yeah, I keep looking down here, or trying to.
Hello. Okay, so I guess we could just, like, start off with an easy one is probably, what was a movie that you feel like that was the most influential? Like you saw, like, you've seen other movies before, you're familiar with it, films and stuff, and genres and stuff. What was the one, it could be, like, very young to very recently, a movie that really, like, almost felt like your confidence changed your whole personality just from seeing it.
Ooh.
Like, it, like, literally altered your whole being.
Do you have one?
I think I have one in mind. Might be a couple. Because it could be, like, amalgamation of a couple that kind of, like...
Yeah, okay. So what if we did it, like, movies that influenced us as kids versus the movie that influenced us now?
I like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Good one. You want me to go or do you want to go?
Do you want to go? Mine is a very basic answer.
I think we might have the same answer, but it could be different. Mine was Land Before Time when I was very young. So, we go back many years.
You turned 24 this year. I turned 26. Shut up.
Yeah, but people are going to say, remember you said 20 is like vintage.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I'm finding out that 20 years is considered vintage.
So, pain. But, no, that was Land Before Time. So, I was pretty young. I think I would have to say I was like 10, 12. I might be young. I can't remember. It's like been so long since I had like on an old DVD case and stuff. Kind of like the DVD like era where like Disney would have like remember back when Disney when you were putting like the VHS tapes like
Disney Fast Play.
Yeah, Fast Play will begin in a moment. The magic there in our hearts, like remembering that nostalgia that's gonna make you cry.
I'm smiling and laughing because of the fact that you're like, oh, these DVDs, and you're talking about like 10 or 11. When I was 10 or 11, I'm still using my VHS tapes.
We were too. That's why I said these DVDs because they were new to my house. Keep in mind, we still used VHS tapes, and then we got a Blockbuster that was near us.
We're showing our age.
Yeah, I know. And I was only born in the 2000s, but keep in mind, the 2000s DVDs were still new. Blu-ray was just becoming a thing.
Blu-ray was brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix was still a mailing service.
It was still a mailing service. Blu-ray was a thing. Laserdiscs became obsolete, and what were the what are they called? Burn discs, where like they were in like a
Yep.
slate. You like put them in, the DVD would be in there. Sometimes you had to flip them, like whole shit. Although that was Laserdiscs too, but Laserdiscs had like 6.
Well, there were blank CDs, blank discs
Oh,
that
that was-
you were able to like pirate movies onto,
Those were always the best birthday gifts.
or CDs. Somebody made a mix CD for you. Oh my god, it was like a mixtape.
Mm-hmm. We're getting majorly sidetracked, but no. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it might not be Land Before Time, because it's like it's a toss-up right now for me. Because, like, I'll say this, it's probably 3. Land Before Time for one, my honest, like, it didn't start. I'll say this, Jurassic Park, through my love for dinosaurs and film, like that influenced me heavily. Because like, first it was like my young brain being like, oh wow, this is what an actual dinosaur is like seeing a T-Rex in full throttle, like the size, the power it has, seeing what fast moving raptors are, the size of a Triceratops, and like the other movies, like jump starting me to like loving and wanting to see more dinosaurs, to then when I got older to then be like, wow, this is like film mastery of like how they got the camera angles, the fact they built an actual life-size T-Rex that they had to fucking pat down with towels like constantly because the thing would start jittering, the like, you know, like when like you know, like when you're like mixing up the dice and you get to that kind of point where it starts to go like click 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 click, is it stuck kind of thing. You know, it's like you had like an old toy and like they kind of like they moved and they got stuck and they did like like stuck thing. That's what it was doing. So they had to like dry it and like pat it down and stuff.
Because
and,
it was just like too much condensation around the
yeah,
mechanisms. Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, keep in mind like the skin was made of foam.
Yeah.
So like it would absorb the water and like kind of make Rexy kind of puff up a little bit too. So they had to keep changing.
Oh, is that why she's puffy in some?
Yeah,
clips and
because
not in
like
others?
the water got into it, and the CGI was just, I can't, for the night, like the
It was
90s,
94, I think.
yeah, like
93. That
Yeah,
was a
93,
Year
like,
off.
that was insane. Like, keep in mind, like CGI way before that looked like ass, and like the most impressive CGI.
Well,
Not
it's
all,
not. Yeah,
but, like-
because Star Wars came out before that, so
True, but they don't
They had a
forget
bigger budget.
they didn't rely on CGI though. They relied on practical props and stuff. The CGI
Practical props and a lot of painting.
painting and like stop motion. That's what Alien did back in the day. That scene where they're going through like the big hall. It was just painted in stained glass and stuff. They're like scenes where you see like the ship. I mean, like you've seen pictures, because I know you haven't seen it. So that influenced me there. Land Before Time influenced me with like animation and like art and storytelling, because I cried when I watched that movie. It was like,
Oh yeah,
so
I
good.
rewatched it with my nephews.
I was very young watching it, like seeing how like beautifully well animated it was, seeing like all the minute details in it and how to tell like a very compelling, captivating story with likable and unlikable characters that end up getting redemption near the end, like Sarah's redemption when she came in to save all the other kids when they were being chased by the Packy ones, or when she was actually being chased. They came in to save her. Then she turns around and saves them from the sharp tooth when she knocked the boulder on top of it to like crush it. Petrie learning to be brave. Ducky coming over her fears. Littlefoot accepting like the reality of like things. Spike was just Spike.
Spike being Spike.
Spike was Spike, and Sarah learning to be
Friendly.
not so enclosed.
They made her go from like very independent and like she was still stuck up regardless.
Yeah.
They made her likable
Yeah,
and
exactly.
made her like rely on her friends more.
And I'm strictly talking about the first one. I'm not talking about like the other ones where they kind of like changed a lot of that and stuff. Although a lot of the sequels are good, I also always love the first one the most.
Brave little toaster.
That's another good one. That's
Brave Little Toaster helped me get over like my fear of the loud noises for like the vacuum cleaner and all that kind of stuff. And like Toy Story, made me have a lot more compassion for like inanimate objects, which is probably part of my problem.
Honestly, that helped me like get the influence of wanting to like take care of toys and figurines so much just after watching that.
That was actually those movies. I think that was the whole reason for their development was because of the fact that it was around the time when. Well, I'm not sure about like Brave Little Toaster, but especially with Toy Story. Again, you know, Pixar likes to mess with our emotions. What if toys had emotions? What if cars had emotions? What if emotions had emotions?
I know. Like, what are they going to think of next?
I mean, we do have Inside Out 2 coming out when the main character gets a whole slew of new emotions, like anxiety. Which is exactly the way I pictured anxiety in my brain. But,
oh boy. I'm scared of what... No, sadness would technically count as depression. Oh god, no, depression would be its own thing.
No, because technically speaking, these are, like, I think they're supposed to be evolutions of your emotions as you get older.
We need an emotion for ADHD.
I wonder if there is one.
Nah, because it'd be more like a... It's more like
that's a chemical... Technically speaking, it's a chemical, like, imbalance in the brain.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an emotion, so that would be excluded. But no, that is a good... That is a very good one, and honestly, that one, I need that too.
Oh, but that was around the time when we were talking more about, like, the reduced, reuse, recycle.
Yeah.
It was, like, because that was when Magic School Bus was still around, and Captain Planet, and that was when we were really into, like, learning about our Earth. That was when we were making a lot more discoveries, and with
that movie
modern
made me
technology.
feel bad for my air conditioner, too.
Yeah.
That is probably the most, like, darkest scene in that movie was the air conditioner dying.
And we played It Takes Two.
Yeah, we killed an air conditioner in that game.
It wasn't an air conditioner, it was a vacuum cleaner.
Never mind, I lied.
We also game is so fucking brutal.
It really is. That's a whole other thing. Another movie that was really influencing myself, which is not going to shock you at all, was Godzilla.
No.
It was
not surprising at all.
Godzilla influenced me because, honestly, in more levels than what Jurassic Park and, like... Land Before Time did, because those movies got me into like science and studying extinct animals and the beauty of like film and art and stuff and animation and storytelling. Godzilla got me into the realization that there are more movies that I can enjoy outside of my own country.
Right. That showed you more foreign movies.
This showed me I had an endless variety of films that I could sit down and really enjoy. Because as you may have known, you've seen me watch, I watch a lot of the Godzilla movies not in English. Most of the time.
Watch them in Japanese.
Most of the time I usually do because it's something I just prefer watching the traditional language.
But I did find out that not every Godzilla movie has an English dub.
Not every one of them do.
Most that have come over to the States and have been sold in the States have some sort of an English dub.
Mm-hmm.
Or they at least have English subtitles. Like when we went to watch -1, it had English subtitles, thank God.
Yes, which was very thankful. But, like, watching the old Godzilla, like, it was just something, like so different that American films couldn't do. Like, watching just this radioactive lizard fight a giant robot version of itself, which sounds like so simple in paper, and it is. But for me, being young 4-year-old me, this is probably the greatest thing that I could ever...
You were like, look at the dinosaur!
That shoots a laser out of its mouth. Like, it was everything to me.
And the roar.
And the roar. Oh my god, I fell in love with the roar. And then as I like got older and like I learned there was more movies and like they were like throughout different years, I began to appreciate the culture behind them all, the storytelling, the characters, the evolution behind Godzilla, the stories behind the studios that make them.
You also tend to like a lot more. Also, I'm doing this because every single time, like, we tend to sit down and have this conversation, I zone out halfway through. It is not because I'm not paying attention. No. It's helping me concentrate. you have a tendency to like a lot more foreign films or movies with foreign aspects in them. And I think
Yes.
that's why, especially the past few years, we've taken more of a liking to Disney movies. Because they've been more like Encanto was everything without, like, what was it, South America?
It was...
Because it was for Colombia.
yes, Colombian. Not to being, like, because people were confused it for, like, Coco, which is Mexico, which, again, there are technically Hispanic-speaking countries. It's
That's
just that
my favorite movie.
one is more farther south.
But you, like, have a deep love for that. You have a deep love for, like, Kung Fu Panda. Anything with, like, a foreign background to it.
To really, like, add to that, too, the better example is you saw my DVD collections of Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. Because
We grew up with those people.
Exactly, and those movies also really...
Mr. Monkey.
Yeah. Monkey. But those movies also influenced me. So Godzilla helped me get into Japanese culture heavily, like learning about it, wanting to understand it more, like seeing why Godzilla's their Hollywood icon, essentially to them. And then that got me into Ultraman, and then Kamen Rider.
You need to see his Ultraman. That's what we need to do for a video.
Yeah.
We need to go around the bedroom and start here in the office and, like, show you guys his collection.
Yeah.
And talk about it. That will be, like, a 4-part fucking
That will be a 4-part series. We'd start for, like, with each individual one, but, like, yeah, just that, and I got into, like, Kamen Rider Ascent and Power Rangers as well, which then led me to learn that Power Rangers isn't American, it's actually Japanese, which helped
I
even more.
actually did not know about until I started seeing you.
Yeah, like when I told you that technically in Japan it's called Super Sentai.
It made a lot more sense because,
Oh, yeah.
like, I grew up watching Power Rangers. That was my brother and I's favorite, like, show. And again, like, the shows that we watched a lot as kids, we watched, like, Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and that was, like,
Yeah.
in Studio, is it Ghibli or Ghibli?
Depends on how you say it. I say Ghibli, personally.
Okay. Studio Ghibli movies, like
Howl's Moving Castle, which was huge for me.
Kiki's Delivery Service, Spirited Away,
Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke,
Ponyo.
Ponyo was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And those were ones that were, like, translated into English, where a lot more of us kids were able to watch it. Like, One Piece was on for kids.
And there's so many more we haven't seen yet or getting to, like, when I showed you Porco Rosso.
I loved Porco Rosso.
It's so great, and that was my second time watching that movie in English. The first time I watched it was in Japanese by accident. I loved it.
We still need to watch Kiki's Delivery Service.
It's so good.
We get a black cat. I hope they're female, so I can name them Kiki.
Something like that.
Something like that. I can't remember.
But yeah, those were influential. And going back a little bit on the foreign aspect, Kung Fu and martial art movies got me into learning about Chinese, Malaysian, Thailand kind of culture and stuff because, like, watching Jackie Chan movies, it got me into wanting to take martial arts to begin with. Same with Power Rangers.
I wanted to take martial arts as a kid because my dad was a big, like, Bruce Lee and Jet Li fan and Jackie Chan, and so was my grandpa. My grandpa was a boxer in the army.
Yeah, Rocky, another
the Rocky
example.
movies. Like, my dad watched UFC fights. I was obsessed with Chuck the Iceman Liddell and like
still the king.
But that had, like, a lot of influence on both of us, and I think it's because of like that's also around the same time when, again, all of the shows that we were watching had some form of, like, martial arts aspect or some form of, like, a foreign aspect, because we also had Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Robin was a black belt in karate. So, like...
Or, oh, God, what was the name of the cartoon? It was literally like a martial arts show.
There was a lot of those. Jackie Chan Adventures came out when we were kids, too.
That was it. That was the one.
But there was Jackie Chan Adventures, there was American Dragon Jake Long, there was Avatar The Last Airbender, because that came out in 2008.
Did you ever watch the show? It was about, like, a blue bunny and a pink bunny. They were brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yin Yang Yo.
Thank you. That was the one I was actually trying to remember. I loved Yin Yang Yo when I was a kid. It was so freaking good.
I loved it until I reached, like, the age of, like, 12, 13, and then I'm like, man, this stuff sucks.
Yeah, because you
But
gotta
it
grow out of
wasn't.
it.
That's the thing, though. That's something that we have.
And now we
learned
look
a
back and
lot.
we're like, God, I missed this show.
That was something that I personally have learned a lot. Is like certain things are not for my demographic anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were talking about, I think it was Wish, the new Disney movie that everyone thinks has been AI generated, and I was thinking we
Kind of convinced that it was made by an AI.
I agree with it.
That song is so bad.
So many people were making fun of Lin-Manuel Miranda because of it, saying that like this is just the new age of Disney. It's not. Because I guarantee that movie was AI. We have not seen it. If we do decide to watch it at any point, I don't want to either. Because knowing what I do about like what they were going to release versus what they actually released, I'm mad.
I just can't get over the main villain. I say villain loosely.
Yeah.
The main villain bad guy song is so bad.
It's supposed to be like a play on Mother Knows Best from Tangled.
But Mother Knows Best was actually good.
They were going for the narcissistic aspect of it. Like, I know you don't have a very good relationship with your dad, so like if your dad was like, you know, I let you live here for free, I didn't make you pay rent, I didn't make you do anything like that. I gave you
Maybe that's why I also don't like the songs, because it makes me think of my dad. Like all that shit he says would be like what my dad would say. I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
That might be just the only reason why I don't like that. But like, I don't know. It's just like weird. And you know what? Now that we were sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
but,
you're fine.
Mentioning that now because we talked so much about our childhood. I think now we could probably talk about more recent movies, like teen going up, that like changed and like influenced us in a different way.
I didn't tell you one of the movies that definitely like forged my attitude.
Mm-hmm.
It had a lot to do with the way stop playing footsie with me. It had a lot to do with the way my dad raised me.
Mm-hmm.
My mom did not raise me to be the opinionated woman that I am, even though she too is a very opinionated woman.
Mm-hmm.
Mulan. Mulan
yeah.
came out the year I was born. My brother got it in his Easter basket that year. That was the first movie my mom ever sat me down to show me. Obviously, she went past the killing of the village, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's on VHS tape. Her, like, when parents would, like, sit the camcorder down. God, I'm showing my age. Sit the camcorder down and, like, record you to have, like, home videos, which I need to figure out if I can get those onto a DVD so I can show you. There's so many embarrassing moments, but I'll show you them anyway.
Movie also had probably the best villain. One of the best, like,
Shan Yu.
antagonists.
That was the forefront of my obsession.
That's a villain that also had more of a
came
legitimate
to-
body count, too.
Oh yeah, Mulan is one of the very few Disney heroines that actually has a body count, and it's in the hundreds. And I think that's why I loved the idea of Avatar: Last Airbender so much, and loved the strong female characters, including Kyoshi.
Again, that's why I think you should watch Korra as well.
I liked Korra. I have to get past the cheesiness and pain in the neckness of season 1. It's the Mako stuff.
But
that's all it is. That's the only thing that's stopping me is because I know about it. I know everything about the show. I just have not sat down and watched it. But I need to because the new live action show is coming out, as well as the fact that we're going to get a season 3. Or, technically a season 3. It's supposed to be the Earthbending Avatar
another series.
Another series. We're supposed to get the Earthbending Avatar after Korra.
Which is, like, going to be really interesting because it's going to be, like, more modern day.
It's going to be a lot more modern day, but I really wish they would go back and we would have the discussion about Yang Chen and Kyoshi.
Yeah.
And Karuk. Yang Chen, Kyoshi, and Karuk need to have their own thing. But Mulan was what started my obsession with Chinese culture. Not obsession, my fascination. Obsession is the wrong word.
And you started learning, like, a little bit more, like, the truth behind them, too, and stuff.
Yeah.
Because we also learned that, like, movies kind of fantasize.
And finding out that Jackie Chan sang the Mandarin version of I'll Make a Man Out of You.
I told Jackie and her sister that. They had no idea.
I love that. Also, the voice actor for Shang was also... Because I watched a lot of, like, true crime stuff when I was younger, and I should not have. I get it honest. My dad and my nan are this way. But I watched Law & Order Special Victims Unit, which I should not have watched at the age that I did. The actor, Dr. Wong, who was also the doctor in Jurassic Park.
Yep.
He voiced Shang.
Yeah, I know.
But and I know you've said this, and a lot of people have, Mulan has the only sequel that does not want to make me rip out my hair. Because the animation looks like it's really bubbly because it came out in like 2003, I think.
Yeah, it was that point in time when Disney were trying to make sequels to their movies.
When they were trying to make sequels, but it was before they hit like or after they had the low budget sequels.
They were rushed out because they wanted to cash grab.
And I know as much as people are going to hate me saying this one too. Pocahontas and Pocahontas 2 were also very influential.
I never said I didn't like Pocahontas 2.
No, everyone, like, a lot of people are
Pocahontas 2 probably had a better ending than the first Pocahontas, in my opinion.
But people don't like it because it's not historically accurate, and it's us glorifying...
Neither is the first movie.
No, that's the point. Because of the fact that they think that it's glorifying... I cannot think of how to say her native name, but it's glorifying settlers. Mm-hmm. Which I do understand.
I don't know why I want to say Sacagawea when I know that's...
It's not Sacagawea.
That's a completely different person.
But that, Night at the Museum also helped. But the thing is, too, is that I have a great-great-grandmother that was full-blooded Cherokee.
Mm.
Or not Cherokee, Chickasaw.
Chickasaw, yeah.
Either Chickasaw or Choctaw. Those are the two that I'm related to. That I know of through my dad. We're going to find out more because I did the 23andMe. But my dad has always had this obsession and fascination with Native American heritage. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the very first movies I remember seeing that made me, like, want to get in touch with nature, that made me want to go down the more spiritual versus religious aspect of, like, the world.
Mine was the,
But Mulan was a major influence.
Fuck, what was the name of the movie? It was a movie about like, the... It's based on a true story, too. It's about the Native American man who was captured by foreigners, brought to the States for a while, went back, and when his people were ready to kill the Pilgrims, he was actually the one that was like, no, we should make peace instead. Like, I can't remember his name. Like, he was the one that was, like, at, like, the first Thanksgiving and stuff like that, like... Because, like,
I'm not sure, but why does it sound like...
Yeah, we learned this in history. Like, he came up to, like, the...
Did you guys learn about Tecumseh? Or was that solely, like, a Maya-based...
That was your base, because that's more solely... Because remember...
It's Chillicothe based.
Yeah, in Massachusetts, we strictly learned about, like, the
ones that were here.
The Plymouth... Colonizers, the what's the boat called, the
Mayflower?
The Mayflower and stuff, because we have the replica and stuff. And
oh,
yeah, there's a big, it's actually really cool, it's like a big, like, settlers recreational area, and like the actors, you know, it's actually really cool.
We have Tecumseh back home, and we have a lot of stuff for the Underground Railroad. Like, there's a lot of aspects.
We have a lot of ghost shit.
Well, we're like 2 hours, what is it, like an hour and a half away from Salem?
An hour and a half from Salem. We have, like, all the most oldest, like, buildings known to man. We have the most, like, ghost sightings, probably out of any state. No, we're not that far away from Maine.
Have you noticed, though, you had more of, like, the martial arts, like, Asian culture aspect of your childhood, like, learning about all that. I had a lot of the, like, Hispanic Native American aspect.
If you also notice with both of us, but I think it influenced a little bit me more, a lot of the movies I watch has something to do with history too, because I also watched Gladiator when I was young, and that really influenced me getting into Roman and then, like, Greek culture once I watched Troy.
Percy Jackson got me into the Greek mythology stuff.
And you see, and that's what's funny
Actually,
too.
no, Hercules, the Disney movie, because I was a Disney kid, and the TV show got me into Greek mythology.
And what's so funny about that too is that I watched Hercules too, but it didn't get me into learning about the Greek gods. What got me into learning about the Greek gods was Clash of Titans. Because, like, it was like about, like, okay, first I have to say, I watched the original Clash of the Titans, so the old stop motion one.
Right.
Before I watched it get remaked. I like the old one a lot more because it kind of painted the gods in a better light, and also, like, kind of, like, in a weird way, more accurately portrayed Perseus and his journey, while the live action one was obviously way more, like, dramatized, movie-ified, like, what, that movie came... Yeah, that movie came out, like, 2006, 2007. So it's like kind of like that era where it's like just fucking dark and crazy and add this extra stuff and big monster at the end of it, the Kraken. And fucking Zeus is played by Liam Neeson, which honestly I'm not going to argue with that one.
Listen, people may not have liked Thor Love and Thunder, but I think they picked a phenomenal actor to play Zeus. I really, really wish, though,
They picked the serious one and not the goofy
I
one.
wish that they had added the deleted scene, because there's a deleted scene.
It would have been awesome if the deleted scene was like after the fight. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not actually hurt because I'm Zeus. Like my own lightning bolt's not gonna kill me.
Yeah,
Like,
my own lightning bolt isn't going to do anything to me, but you're going to love my son.
yeah.
And here comes Herc.
Which
But, like,
yeah. Also, did you know not to sidetrack real quick, what's his name who played Legolas?
Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, he was in the remake of Clash of Titans. He played Hermes.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I found who would be a good Hermes when it comes to my OC. My Marvel OC.
You weren't thinking of him.
No, I wasn't.
So
But
it's
now
like,
that
oh.
makes a lot of sense.
He's like, once you hear it, you're like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, it clicks.
Yeah,
And I'm
exactly.
like, yeah, he looks like depictions of Hermes, kind of like how that's another, like, I gotta show you the Clash of Titan movies. You would, I've seen them, I think. I don't remember them.
I want to show you the original first, just because it's the time, and it's, honestly, you probably like it because of how it's, like, made, and then I want to show you the remake to see how literally very different they are.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you have any movies growing up that you watched that influenced you that were not for your demographic?
There are a couple that come to mind, and they might shock you to the ones I say.
My nose itches.
The first one was Breakfast Club.
I love you.
That was the first one that influenced me, and that actually, even though it wasn't the right time, I think that movie prepared me for what I thought high school was going to be.
Same.
And it wasn't wrong. It was just just take it in a different point in time.
That's me with Pretty in Pink.
That was like,
Because
okay.
I was a poor kid growing up. I was in Andy's shoes a lot.
The next one might surprise you. Because it's a lot more of a drama, was On Golden Pond and stuff. That was a movie. It's a movie about like an old man and stuff, and his wife like living on like this golden pond. Like, it is about like the kind of, this is my dad's favorite movie too, and shockingly I liked it as well. Either like
Wow, that's saying something.
you would think it would be a boring movie. It's honestly a very beautiful story about like this man, like just pretty much like he's in his old age. You know, he's living on the countryside now because he usually lived in the city. He's like kind of grumpy and bitter, like kind of like hateful to the world, and then you see him like loving things again and starting to like.
Those.
It was really nice. There's a scene
I think
where
that's
like
why I liked Up so much.
I will find it and show you it. I think you would probably like it for how it's just a nice slow paced movie. There's a really funny scene where he's essentially like befriended this. There's like this like young kid that lives in the neighborhood. Found him annoying at first, and then he started to like him a lot, and like kind of like bonded with the kid. There's a scene where like he's like diving off like the off a deck into the pond and stuff. He's like, "Come on, when I was your age, I could do better than that." It's like the kid's like, "Why don't you try?" And he's about ready to get up, and his wife's like, "No, don't you dare." He's
That's
like,
us.
And there was a really heartfelt scene where he's out in the woods and he kind of walks a little too far and he starts panicking and like running through the woods because he's all scared and stuff, and like he's talking to his wife how he said like the only thing about your pretty face was the only thing that made sure I was safe.
Aww.
And stuff, and like it's like sad but like a good sad at the end, because you do see him and his wife. The kid comes back, he's much older now. He comes back because like the movie's about him talking about them because they passed away when he came to visit them. They passed away in their sleep together, and like he's kind of retelling their story to his kids, his grandkids, actually, like kind of like, and he's like, "This is the magic of the On Golden Pond." I might be misremembering a lot. People can tell me of it, but I remember that. And the last one which is going to be a very interesting one. Brokeback Mountain. It not influenced me, because keep in mind, I am a straight man who was completely fine and comfortable watching Brokeback Mountain. I actually had no issue watching it. I have no issue watching any movie that's towards a gay, lesbian, whatever sexuality. Never cared. Movie, to me, a movie's a movie. I can watch it any type.
Right.
Brokeback Mountain showed me the world of what essentially is to be in the gay, homosexual world, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's specifically the men's side.
Mm-hmm.
This one particularly. I know there's another movie kind of similar-ish like it that's for the female perspective and stuff. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I can't.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
But Brokeback Mountain kind of showed me this is what it's like. Not exactly, but the idea of this is probably what a lot of gay men probably have to go through, because it's not accepted through society.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff, and the fact that their feelings towards each other, they love each other, but they're struggling with it because they know they have to drive halfway across a country just to see each other, just secretly.
Secretly be able to be in a normal relationship like you and I are.
And also, fucking the two actors that are in it.
Oh, yeah.
Who was it? Was it Jake Gyllenhaal, the guy who was in Spider-Man, and John Travolta.
Was it John Travolta?
I thought it was John Travolta. Look it up for me to confirm. But by the way, two very straight actors doing this.
Yeah.
So anybody that thinks it's weird to see an act, was I right?
No, it's Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, then there you go. But yeah, also to anyone that says that a straight actor should not or can't play a gay character.
Listen. I understand why people say it.
All right. I understand why, because they want actual
actual representation.
Actual representation.
Totally understand that.
That also doesn't mean, though, no one is allowed to judge a straight person for wanting to dip their toes into it, because they might also have a little bit of a fruity side themselves. You never know.
I agree. But I think it's also because, especially, it's kind of within the same vein of people in certain cultures complaining that there's not enough representation.
And that's true.
It is true. That is 100% true.
Yeah.
They are also part of a society that doesn't think that is a career.
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly how many times have you had somebody who has an Asian background, for example, be hey, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to act. I want to be able to sing. I want to be able to dance. And their parents are no.
Yeah.
Because that is not their culture. They're you need to be a doctor, a lawyer, or you need to work for the city. You need to work for be a public service, servant, or not servant. That's a bad word, but you get what I'm meaning. Because they will complain so much about there not being enough representation, because there's not enough actors, because their culture, like ours.
Mm-hmm.
Frowns upon that kind of thing. Because I know there are white as my fucking ass, white as can be families that if their child came to them, regardless of their gender, said that, hey, I want to pursue acting, they would be like, no, you're not. You're going to either carry on family business, you're going to you're going to do X, Y, and Z because I told you to, I'm the parent. Which is a toxic mindset regardless of your background.
And I think this is why reiterating, these films are why they're influential in helping us learn and understand, because it's the only way because with Brokeback Mountain, this also shows that one, any actor can do a role if it's their job, but also two, we seeing actual gay actors in it is great representation. And another thing too,
because of the amount of gay characters Stanley Tucci has played, and he is straight as a needle.
Or Robert Downey Jr., who's played gay characters, or
Tom Holland, Andrew
Garfield.
Andrew Garfield is one of the big ones too.
Did you know Tobey Maguire did too?
Yeah.
As well? Yeah, all three of the Spider-Man.
Something with the role.
But also learning about Someone's finding over a bone down there. Also learning about like things that I would be ignorant to. I know this movie technically has a little bit of a controversy behind it. It's an award-winning movie, won an Oscar. It is an incredibly well-made movie. I can understand why some people would be a little iffy about it on a good reason, and the bad ones is because they're racist. A movie I watched called 12 Year Slave.
Yep.
That definitely helped me learn the term before I got into history, like understand like how bad, what it was like, and like the whole thing, especially the fact that this is based on a true story of a man that was free, put into slavery for 12 years, then got his freedom out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, wow, this is a point in our history that is probably the most shameful. And the worst part is, we weren't even like the only country, it was the rest of the world, but
No.
like, it was something that like let me see it, and then when I got to see, really jump-started me to wanting to watch even more movies that are very influenced by black culture, black actors, black directors, man and woman, like it got me to watch like I already love Quentin Tarantino and stuff, emphasize that. And then I got to see Django Unchained, which, for anyone who doesn't know, Django was already an established cowboy movie. It's a very, very well-loved cowboy movie, alongside with Clint Eastwood's movies, and, what the fuck was the actor's name? He was even, like, older, like, fucking 60s or 50s kind of cowboy movies and stuff like that. Or, like, The Lone Ranger.
John Wayne?
John Wayne, thank you. I couldn't remember his name. John Wayne movies.
Which you might...
Have not aged well.
No,
but
because John Wayne wasn't the best person.
No, but even though he's not the best person, we should also learn to remove person from actor. That's what I do when I watch.
Remove actor from character.
Thank you. Remove actor from character, because that's what I always do when I watch like Top Gun or Mission Impossible, because
Tom Cruise.
Because Tom Cruise is not a... Well, no, here's the thing. Real quick, he is generally the nicest human being ever who does not preach his thing. Yeah. I just don't like that he's a part of it. So I can still respect him as a person and an actor. I'd rather more respect him as an actor than a person, though, because he's part of that. But that's a whole other topic for another time. Yeah. But, so, like, and obviously I can separate John Wayne as a person and as a talented actor. But back on Django Unchained was a remake of the original Django. And the fact that it is not, like, just a remake, it is also the fact that Django in the original movie was a white guy, and now you have this essentially remake that he's played by Jamie Foxx, who is, I think you all know, a black man.
That has been struggling with health issues, that is finally starting to be okay again.
Thank God, because he is a gem of an actor. I love him.
He is one of the few male actors that you would trust with your drink at a bar.
Love him, and his personation of Denzel Washington was the funniest thing in the entire world. The lip quiver was perfect. But another actor that I love to death.
Oh, yeah.
I love Equalizer and Glory, another movie that got me into history. But yeah, like he was literally he's a freed slave. He joins this German guy who's like, he literally says, you get killed to kill white people? Sign me up. And he does it, and it's, incredible story. The music, the energy it gave off, that real power it had. And then watching, I want to say Black Panther. I feel like Black Panther would be a little bit too easy one, but it's still a great one for that one. For, black culture and stuff like that, because Chadwick Boseman is T'Challa. I'm not going to argue otherwise. If you try to argue me in the comments, I will fight you to the death. He is T'Challa to me, and I will forever and always miss him to death.
Oh yeah. He was gone way too soon.
Way too soon. Way, way, way too soon. Oh my goodness gracious. But no, and then this other movies that got me into more black musicians and other stuff like that, and the cultural stuff
yeah.
Those are influenced me because it let me love and just bring in more things that I want to learn and like understand.
Yeah, like a lot of the stuff that we watch or consume, yeah, like certain characters in the movies are very much, they're either white or they are mixed or something like that.
They're either white, they're black, Asian, Hispanic, or if you're
our taste in things is a giant, like, I hate the term melting pot, because when you melt things in a pot, it all blends into one.
Unless you're Oscar Isaac, which they use him to play either a Hispanic guy or European. So he said that himself. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's more like a potluck where everyone brings something that's like meaningful to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that needs to be the idea when it comes to, you know, how
Pedro Pascal, who's just meaningful to everybody.
Pedro.
Listen,
Pedro and Oscar.
Yeah.
They oh.
He's kind of Pedro Pascal's kind of became like the new Ryan Reynolds for the men community. In the term, you know what I mean? It's like like I'm not gay, but Ryan Reynolds.
And I wonder if it's because these men are so comfortable in their masculinity that
I think it's because they know they don't do the toxic side of it.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, in fairness, I'm whole other topic, but I feel like the word toxic masculinity shouldn't be a thing. I think it's just toxicity. It doesn't matter if it's masculine or feminine. It exists in both genders. But they are like the most least toxic human beings.
Yeah. They, like, for a while there, Ryan Gosling was one of those people that we didn't really tend to think of as, like, a safe person when it comes to, like, us talking about celebrities.
And then you see more of him. And then you're like,
and I think, honestly, I think it's because he got typecasted so much, we started viewing him as those characters, which we shouldn't be doing to begin with. Because
I'm
then,
just kidding.
You haven't even watched the movie.
I know. And I also love the message behind that movie, and I haven't even seen it.
That is the other movie, to be completely honest. Yes, I grew up playing with Barbies as a kid. I also grew up very similarly to the girls in the movie. The ones that I told you were supposed to represent the Brat dolls.
Yes.
Because Bratz dolls were created to counteract Mattel's Barbie because she was hyper feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, these girls were supposed to be grunge. They were supposed to be more teen. They were supposed to be like the like 16 to 18-year-olds that would go to like go get their first tattoo for their 18th birthday with their parent, or like their parent would take them to go get their belly button pierced or something like that. That was the way I perceived, because that's probably not what the message was. That was the way I perceived, the Bratz, because I was very hyper feminine as a child, because I had the Barbie dream houses, but they were all hand-me-downs. I had the Barbie dream houses. I had My Little Pony. I had Strawberry Shortcake. Strawberry Shortcake was a big one too. Yeah. Mine was the one when she started wearing like jeans and she was like riding on the skateboard, and she was very tomboy. I was the tomboy that wanted to wear a pretty dress. Yeah. And, like, shoot Nerf guns with my brother. Because I grew up with my brother. I was a tomboy.
Like how I knew a lot of female friends that were just, like, the skater bros and stuff. That wore, like, the beanies.
And that was around the time when, like, Avril Lavigne was popping up really big. And that was when, like, being a tomboy was starting to be the big thing. Bratz was, like, the bigger thing, and Winx Club, and Witch, We Are Witch, where it was like all these girls being able to possess powers of the elements and all that kind of stuff. But it was showing the independence for women. And it was showing me independence, and showing that it was okay to be a woman in a male-dominated world. Like taking Legally Blonde, like I was telling you earlier, a lot of people have went up to Reese Witherspoon and they're like, oh, you were the reason that I went to law school. It had nothing to do with Reese going to law school, because she never did. It had everything to do with the fact that it does not matter what you wear. You can wear pastel pink, you can wear pastel blue, lilac purple, like you can wear whatever you want. You can be your own person and still find your own style, regardless of the industry that you are wanting to be in, or the part of society that you are a part of. Yeah. The only person who taught me that outside of like that form of media was my dad. Because even my mom was like, you have to sit a certain way, you're a girl. You have to act a certain way, you're a girl. Meanwhile, my dad is like, you can do whatever you want. You're my daughter. You can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he would... Like, I asked him for permission when I went to go get my tattoo. I was 23. I went to go and get my tattoo. I was 24. I went to go get my tattoo. And I'm like, is this going to bother you? And he's like, why the fuck would it bother me? When my sister came out, like, I was 13, and my mom did not like it. My mom was so uncomfortable. Because my sister is my half-sister.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't get along with hers, and she's like, I don't want you to be around that. My dad, on the other hand, is like, she's your sister. Why wouldn't we support her? My dad is also the only one to ever hold my brothers accountable.
Yeah.
For their actions as men. My brother is very toxic. He is very, like, if he ever has a daughter,
Mm-hmm.
I never want her to be in that house. And it's not because I think anything's going to happen. It's because I don't trust my brother.
Yeah, yeah.
That is a whole different topic we are not going to get into today. But those were the first few, like, Strawberry Shortcake, Care Bears, even, and a lot of this stuff came out in, like, the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Came out in 70s, and earlier than that. This was also when that 70s show was out, and I really liked Donna, the character. She was very hyper, like, not hyper feminine, but she was one of those women that was like, I want to exist in the same, like, I want to be the other CEO in the room full of men.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a clip in the Barbie movie when you go to Mattel, which is the corporation that, like, helped start Barbie, and, like, they treat Barbie like you would a random woman off the street. Not at all with a lick of respect. They're just like, you need to get back in the box. It's like, they like, there's a rumor that, like, the ghost of the creator of Barbie, who created it after her daughter,
Mm-hmm.
Lives in, like, some room in Mattel Corporation. It turns out that it's not actually a ghost. It is actually her.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the mom from Matilda?
Yeah.
It's her.
Yeah.
Which is a full 180. That was another movie. Matilda influenced me a lot because it got me into loving the idea of magic and having an imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as a girl, I was told a lot that I needed to stop living with my head in the clouds. Meanwhile, my brother was a imaginary genius.
I think that's a perfect
Ending.
ending right there. Like,
it does not matter your gender orientation. It does not matter what you were raised as, what you were born as, what society thinks that you should be. Regardless of what it is that society thinks, you are your own person. You make your own destiny. You are the one that has to live the rest of your life with yourself. If you don't like yourself, that's something you need to discuss with a therapist.
and film is the gateway to a lot of things. Film will influence you in more ways than you can imagine. It will influence you to be doctors, to lawyers, to scientists, to Marine soldiers, to...
And something as basic as like, there's TV shows for kids about monster trucks.
Yeah.
And it teaches them... Remy watches it. Remy's my nephew. And watches it about... it teaches him about, like, friendship. It teaches them about how to deal with a situation if they don't know how to deal with it. It deals with, like, everyday situations, like a flood or a house fire. How to get out. What to do. How to help people.
Exactly. So, always keep that in mind and always remember that a good movie will affect you down the long road. You just might not realize it yet.
And just because something is geared towards a certain audience does not mean that you can't watch it.
That is right. Whether it is towards the LGBTQ community, whether it's towards...
As long as you're being respectful, it's for everyone.
Exactly. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.